We've been taught something our entire lives: work harder, push more, control outcomes, force results. But let me ask you something uncomfortable. How many people do you know who worked relentlessly, did everything right, followed all the rules for us, and still feel stuck? If effort alone created success, wouldn't the most exhausted people be the most fulfilled? So, what if the missing variable isn't action, but identity? This video is inspired by Neville Goddard, a mystic and teacher from the 20th century who claims something radical. Feeling is the secret, not technique, not repetition, not strategy, feeling. In his book, Feeling is the Secret, Neville describes consciousness as having two aspects: the conscious mind, the masculine principle, which selects, decides, chooses ideas, and the subconscious, the feminine principle, which receives, accepts, and expresses whatever is impressed upon it as true. The subconscious does not argue, it does not analyze, it does not judge. It accepts what you feel to be true, but what does that actually mean? What defines something as true to your subconscious? Not what you say or repeat, not what you post online. Truth to the subconscious is what you emotionally identify with. It is the state that feels natural, the story that feels familiar, the identity that feels safe. And this is where it gets real. Have you ever seen two brothers raised in the exact same house, with the same parents, same culture, same opportunities, and one grows up confident and abundant while the other grows up insecure and resentful? Or two coworkers with the same position, same salary, same economy, yet one sees opportunity everywhere while the other sees constant threat? Same environment, different internal state, different emotional identity, different reality, because we do not experience life as it is. We experience life as we are. Now let's go deeper. If deep down you feel unworthy, you won't consciously say, "I am unworthy." But you will tolerate less, you will over-explain yourself, you will shrink in conversations, you will unconsciously project that belief through posture, tone, micro-behaviors, and people will respond to that projection. Then you'll say, "See, they don't value me." But what you're actually seeing is your internal state reflected. If deep down you feel unseen, you might choose emotionally unavailable partners, not because you want pain, but because your nervous system recognizes that dynamic as familiar. Familiar feels safe, and the subconscious chooses familiar over healthy. If deep down you feel like life is against you, neutral events will look like proof. A delayed message becomes rejection, a mistake becomes failure, silence becomes threat. Not because reality changed, but because perception filtered it. So how are these feelings formed? Through repetition of experiences, especially emotional ones in early life, moments of rejection, moments of comparison, moments of praise, moments of shame. The brain encodes emotion faster than logic. The subconscious stores emotional impressions as identity, and identity becomes expectation. Expectation becomes perception. Perception becomes behavior. Behavior reinforces identity. That's the loop. And this is why affirmations often fail. You can say, "I am abundant" a million times, but if internally you feel scarcity, your subconscious accepts scarcity as truth. And the more you repeat the affirmation with anxiety behind it, the more you reinforce the feeling of not having. It's like someone saying, I swear I'm confident," over and over again. A truly confident person doesn't repeat it. They embody it. They feel it. They move from it. Neville said, "You express and have only that which you are conscious of being." Not what you wish for, not what you want, what you feel yourself to be. And this is where we need to clarify something important. This is not about pretending. It's not about delusion. It's about emotional alignment. There's a difference between forcing belief and allowing a new state to become natural. The conscious mind chooses the idea. The subconscious receives the feeling. If the conscious mind says, "I choose abundance," but the feeling underneath is fear, the subconscious expresses fear, because sensation precedes manifestation. So the question is not what do I want? The question is, what feels natural to me? Does love feel natural? Or does anxiety feel more familiar? Does success feel normal? Or does struggle feel like home? And if struggle feels like home, no amount of external effort will feel stable, because internally you are loyal to your identity. Now here's the part most people misunderstand. This is not about blaming yourself. It's about understanding creative responsibility. Neville called sleep and prayer the gateways to the subconscious, not religious ritual, but entering a state where the mind is quiet enough, to impress a new feeling as real. Because when the body relaxes, the subconscious becomes more receptive. And here's the shift. You don't convince the subconscious with force. You impress it with feeling. A person who truly knows they are worthy doesn't rehearse it constantly. They simply move through life expecting respect. A person who truly feels abundant doesn't panic at temporary lack. They interpret events differently. So maybe the real question isn't, how do I get what I want? Maybe it's, who would I be if I already felt whole? Because when the feeling changes, perception changes. When perception changes, behavior changes. When behavior changes, results follow. Not by magic, but by alignment. And maybe that's what Neville meant when he said, you are already that which you want to be, and your refusal to believe it is the only reason you do not see it. Not refusal in logic, refusal in feeling. So tonight, instead of repeating what you want, ask yourself, what do I feel myself to be? And if that feeling shifted, how would my world look? Because maybe feeling really is the secret. And if that idea feels confronting, good. Because this isn't about blind belief. It's about awareness, about noticing the emotional state you rehearse every single day without realizing. Notice what feels familiar. Notice what feels natural. Notice what you defend. Notice what you expect. That's the state creating your life. Not your goals, not your plans, not your effort, your state. So maybe the work isn't to chase more. Maybe it's to become more conscious of what you're being, more intentional with what you emotionally identify with, more honest about the story you've accepted as truth. Because once you see the pattern, you can change the pattern. And once you change the feeling, you change the world you experience. Not overnight, not by force, but by alignment. So tonight, instead of asking, what do I want? Ask, what am I being? And if this perspective shifted something inside you, if this message resonated in a way that felt uncomfortable but true, leave a like so this conversation can reach more people, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and let's build a space where we don't just chase outcomes, we understand consciousness. And I'll see you in the next video.